Friends, did you know that sometimes even a small coin can be worth lakhs of rupees? Today, we are going to talk about the history, design, and market value of some such rare coins. So, let's get started. The 1878 Indian head cent is an important piece of 19th century American coinage and part of one of the most beloved small cent series produced by the United States Mint. This 1-cent coin was struck during a time when the United States was expanding economically and technologically after the Civil War. Although the coin might appear small and simple, it carries with it a deep story of American history, artistry, and the evolution of the nation's monetary system. The Indian head cent series itself was produced from 1859 until 1909 and remains extremely popular among coin collectors and historians. By the time the 1878 issue was struck, the design had already been circulating for nearly 2 decades and had become a familiar sight in everyday American commerce. The design of the Indian head cent was created by James Barton Longacre, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint in the mid-19th century. Longacre was responsible for several famous American coin designs, but the Indian head cent became one of his most enduring works. On the obverse, front, of the coin, the viewer sees a portrait of Lady Liberty facing to the left. She is wearing a Native American style feathered headdress, which gives the coin its popular name, the Indian head cent. However, the portrait is not of a Native American person but rather a classical representation of liberty, a symbol that had long appeared on American coins. Across the band of the headdress is the word liberty, which on well-preserved coins can be clearly seen. Surrounding the portrait along the rim is the inscription United States of America, while the date 1878 appears below the bust of Liberty. The portrait is detailed and artistic, showing carefully engraved feathers and smooth facial features that reflect the craftsmanship of the engravers of the era. The reverse, back, of the 1878 Indian head cent features a beautifully engraved wreath composed mainly of oak leaves, tied together with a ribbon at the bottom. In the center of the wreath appears the denomination 1 cent written in bold letters. At the top of the wreath is a small Union shield, symbolizing national strength and unity following the divisions of the Civil War. This reverse design was introduced in 1860, replacing the earlier laurel wreath used only in the first year of the series in 1859. The oak wreath and shield design remained consistent for nearly 5 decades and became one of the most recognizable reverse designs in American copper coinage. The composition of the 1878 Indian head cent reflects an important change made earlier in the series. Originally, Indian head cents struck from 1859 to early 1864 were made from a copper-nickel alloy, which gave the coins a pale appearance and made them heavier. However, during the Civil War the mint switched to a bronze composition of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc. This new metal mixture made the coins easier to produce and lighter to carry. The bronze Indian head cent, including the 1878 issue, weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of about 19 millimeters. The edge of the coin is plain, without reading or decorative marks. The 1878 Indian head cent was struck primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time did not place mint marks on its coins. Because of this, most 1878 Indian head cents do not have any mint mark visible on the coin. The total mintage for this date was approximately 5.8 million coins, which is lower than many later Indian head cents. Although this number may sound large, many coins were heavily circulated and eventually worn down or lost over time. As a result, high-quality examples of the 1878 cent are more difficult to find today, especially in uncirculated condition. The year 1878 was also historically significant for American coinage because it marked the introduction of the famous Morgan dollar, designed by George T. Morgan. While the Indian head cent served everyday transactions, larger silver coins like the Morgan dollar represented the nation's growing economic power and silver mining industry. During this era, the United States was rapidly industrializing. Railroads were expanding across the country, and millions of people were moving westward in search of new opportunities. Small coins like the Indian head cent played a crucial role in daily trade, allowing people to buy basic goods such as newspapers, food, and household items. From a numismatic standpoint, collectors examine the 1878 Indian head cent based on several factors: condition, originality, and eye appeal. Coin grading ranges from heavily worn pieces to pristine uncirculated examples. In good, G, condition, the major design elements remain visible, though much of the detail is worn away. In fine, F, condition, the wreath and feathers begin to show clearer detail. In extremely fine, XF, condition, The coin displays sharp design features with only slight wear on the highest points. The most valuable examples are those in mint state (MS) condition, meaning they were never circulated and still retain their original mint luster. The market value of an 1878 Indian head cent varies widely depending on its grade. A heavily circulated example might be worth only a few dollars, while coins in extremely fine condition may sell for tens or hundreds of dollars. Uncirculated specimens, especially those with bright original copper color, can command significantly higher prices at coin auctions and among serious collectors. Professional grading organizations such as the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company authenticate and grade coins, helping collectors determine their quality and authenticity. Another interesting aspect of the 1878 Indian head cent is the presence of minor varieties and die characteristics. Because coins were struck using hand-prepared dies during the 19th century, each die could develop cracks, chips, or small variations over time. Some collectors specialize in studying these differences, searching for coins with unique die cracks, repunched letters, or other unusual features. Although these varieties are generally subtle, they add another layer of fascination for numismatists who enjoy studying the technical aspects of coin production. The Indian head cent series continued until 1909, when it was replaced by the Lincoln wheat cent. This new coin featured the portrait of Abraham Lincoln and was designed by Victor David Brenner to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The transition marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on regular-issue United States coins. As a result, the Indian head cent, including the 1878 issue, represents the final decades of a long tradition of symbolic liberty designs on American currency. Today, the 1878 Indian head cent remains a cherished coin among collectors. Many people enjoy assembling complete sets of Indian head cents from 1859 to 1909, and the 1878 coin is an important part of that collection. Its moderate mintage, historical significance, and beautiful design make it an appealing coin for both beginners and experienced numismatists. When held in hand, the coin offers a tangible connection to the late 19th century, a time of innovation, expansion, and cultural transformation in the United States. In conclusion, the 1878 Indian head cent is much more than a simple 1-cent coin. It represents the craftsmanship of James Barton Longacre. The 1894 Indian head cent is one of the classic coins from the late 19th century coinage of the United States, representing a fascinating period in American monetary history when the country was rapidly industrializing and expanding. This 1-cent coin belongs to the famous Indian head cent series, which was produced from 1859 to 1909. Although it carries the name Indian head, the portrait on the obverse actually depicts Lady Liberty wearing a Native American-style feathered headdress. The design was created by the talented engraver James Barton Longacre, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint during the mid-1800s. Longacre designed the coin to symbolize liberty and national identity at a time when American coinage was evolving into a more artistic and symbolic form. On the obverse front of the 1894 Indian head cent, the portrait of Liberty is shown facing left, wearing a detailed feathered headdress with the word Liberty inscribed on the band across her forehead. Around the upper edge of the coin appears the word United States of America, while the year 1894 is placed at the bottom beneath the portrait. The design is both elegant and symbolic, blending classical Western imagery with elements inspired by Native American culture. Longacre's work is considered one of the most recognizable designs in early American copper coinage, and collectors admire the coin for its fine details such as the individual feathers in the headdress and the soft portrait features of Liberty. The reverse, back, of the 1894 Indian head cent features a wreath made of oak leaves surrounding the denomination 1 cent in the center. At the top of the wreath is a small shield, which symbolizes national unity and strength. This reverse design was introduced in 1860 to replace the earlier laurel wreath used in the first year of the series. The oak wreath and shield design remained on the coin until the series ended in 1909, when the Indian head cent was replaced by the famous Lincoln wheat cent, designed by Victor David Brenner to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. The metal composition of the 1894 Indian head cent is also important historically. Earlier Indian head cents were made of a copper-nickel alloy, but by 1864 the composition was changed to 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, often referred to as bronze. This change made the coins lighter and easier to strike, allowing the mint to produce coins more efficiently. The weight of the bronze Indian head cent, including the 1894 issue, is 3.11 grams, and the diameter is about 19 millimeters. The coin has a plain edge with no reading. In terms of mint production, most 1894 Indian head cents were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time did not place a mint mark on the coins. The Philadelphia issue had a mintage of approximately 16 million coins, making it relatively common compared to some earlier or later dates in the series. However, there was also a smaller number struck at the San Francisco Mint, known as the 1894 Indian head cent, which carries a small S mint mark beneath the wreath on the reverse. The San Francisco version is far rarer and is considered one of the key coins in the Indian head cent series, with a mintage of only about 2.5 million pieces. Because of its lower mintage and scarcity in high grades, the 1894 coin is highly sought after by collectors. The historical context of the year 1894 also adds significance to the coin. During this time, the United States was recovering from the severe economic downturn known as the Panic of 1893, which caused widespread bank failures and unemployment. Despite the financial struggles of the era, the U.S. Mint continued producing small denomination coins like the Indian head cent to support everyday commerce. These coins circulated widely in markets, shops, and daily transactions across the country, making them an important part of everyday American life. From a numismatic perspective, collectors evaluate the 1894 Indian head cent based on condition, rarity, and originality. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. Many surviving examples of the 1894 cent are heavily worn because they circulated for decades. In good, G, condition, the design may appear smooth with limited detail, while in fine, F, condition the feathers and wreath become more visible. In extremely fine, XF, condition, much of the original detail remains visible. The most valuable coins are those graded mint state, meaning they were never circulated and still show their original luster. The value of an 1894 Indian head cent can vary widely depending on its condition and mint mark. A common Philadelphia example in worn condition might be worth only a few dollars, but higher-grade pieces can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The rare 1894 Indian head cent, however, is far more valuable and can command prices in the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars depending on its preservation and grading. Professional grading services such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company authenticate and grade these coins, helping collectors determine their true market value. Another interesting aspect of the 1894 Indian head cent is the possibility of mint errors and varieties. Some coins may show repunched dates, die cracks, or minor striking anomalies caused during the minting process. While these errors are generally small, collectors sometimes pay premiums for unusual or rare varieties. Careful examination under magnification can reveal such features, which add additional interest to the coin. The collecting appeal of the Indian head cent series remains strong even today. Many collectors attempt to assemble a complete set of the series from 1859 to 1909, which includes several key dates and varieties. The 1894 issue plays a role in completing the late-date section of the collection and represents the era just before the transition to the Lincoln cent design. Beyond its monetary value, the 1894 Indian head cent is also appreciated for its historical symbolism. The design reflects 19th-century American ideas about liberty, national unity, and cultural imagery. Although modern historians often discuss the cultural interpretations of Native American symbolism in coinage, the coin still stands as a remarkable artistic piece from the era of hand-engraved dies and traditional minting techniques. Today, surviving examples of the 1894 Indian head cent can be found in coin collections, museums, and numismatic exhibitions around the world. Each coin tells a story of American commerce and craftsmanship from more than a century ago. Whether discovered in an old collection, inherited from family members, or purchased at a coin show, the coin continues to connect collectors with the rich monetary heritage of the United States. In summary, the 1894 Indian head cent is more than just a small copper coin. It is a historical artifact representing the artistry of James Barton Longacre, the industrial growth of the United States in the late 1800s, and the everyday economic life of the era. Its distinctive design, historical background, and enduring popularity among collectors ensure that it remains one of the most admired coins of the classic American bronze cent series. If preserved in good condition, this humble 1-cent coin can hold both historical importance and considerable collectible value for numismatists around the world.